What does 1 year of progress in Disney Speedstorm look like? Well, today I am going to be answering that question, and yes, technically it has not been one full calendar year yet, but we are about 2 days away from that mark anyways, and my account's not going to make significant progress in that state, so today I'm going to be showing you what one full year of progress looks like in Disney Speedstorm, and a substantial amount of money as well. I have been playing Disney Speedstorm since the very first day of Season 1, and my account has gone through a lot of changes and progress. You can see right here, I have every character unlocked, and there's just a lot to show off. So let's start right into it by taking a look at my profile. As you can see right here, I have 259 hours and 31 minutes of total playtime across the year. PlayStation, however, which is the platform I play on, says I have 980 hours, and I think a lot of that is either sitting in menus, queuing up, or more likely is I just leave the game on in the background oftentimes when I edit or record videos, and that's why my hours are so high on PlayStation and so low on the game. But I have about 260 hours of in-game playtime. Across that in-game playtime, I have won 5,985 races. I own all 50 racers currently in the game. I've traveled 25,137 miles. I've completed 2,045 goals. I believe all of the goals in the game, and Stitch is my most used racer, my main man himself. Taking a look at my achievements, I have 86 of the 96 achievements in the game, and I think I could very well get most of the last 10. Like, for example, I have Mushu and Crikey. I could easily do that one right now. I have Mrs. Potts and Ship. I think the only one that I couldn't do if I wanted to try would be the one with the wolf pack, because I do not have the wolf pack crew member unlocked. But besides that, all of these that I have left, I'm really close to completing, or I could complete if I wanted to, or, I have most of them completed already. So yeah, we're doing good on achievements. Almost all of them are done. Hopefully they give these as avatars at some point in the future, because honestly, I don't hear it talked about a lot, but the achievement logos are sick. But that aside, I think it's time we start looking at our collections. This is where the bulk of the video is going to be, where I just show all my different progress, and I'll talk about which collections I've spent money on, which collections I have not spent money on, and stuff like that. Kicking things off with the Mickey and Friends collection, which I think is actually the hardest collection to complete. I have 29 out of the 30 items in this collection. Now, the reason why I think this collection is so hard to complete and progress through is because not only do you have the 3 standard default racers of the game, Mickey Mouse, you get right away, and he's honestly pretty easy to get to 5 stars because of the It All Started With a Mouse limited event. But we also have Donald Duck and Goofy, who are just 2, pretty standard racers. You do get Goofy for free. Donald is not as easy to obtain as he used to be, but he's still relatively easy. And then we actually have 4 mid-season racers, 1 epic, 1 rare, and 2 commons, and then a ton of mid-season crew as well as normal crew. And Pluto is easy to get as an epic crew member, but Gilbert, Goof, and then Donald's epic crew member as well are not easy to get, and then there's all the mid-season crew members as well, and I honestly haven't even completed this collection. I'm still missing Millie and Melody Mouse, but besides that, this collection is pretty good and pretty standard. Mickey and Donald are at 5 stars, and just up in the 40s. It's not like I've invested a ton into them, it's just oftentimes they require high-level Mickey and Donald, and they just give you a lot of shards for them over time, so it's pretty standard that I've gotten them to 5 stars, and Goofy is well on his way to 5 stars. He's been at 4 stars for quite a while, but he'll get there eventually, kind of in the lower 4 stars. Steamboat Mickey is also in the 4 stars. They have given a lot of shards out for him as an epic crew member, and I think I've gotten all of his possible event shards. Steamboat Pete is very close to that 4-star mark, along with Minnie Mouse. Daisy Duck recently just hit it with some of her new Star Chaser events, and then I already talked about these racers. And you'll see that most of the racers on my account are at least level 35. That's kind of like my minimum benchmark. If a racer is under level 35, it is usually a rare occurrence. I like to keep everyone at this level, just so that way, if an objective comes up for them, I can complete it with relative ease. It's not often that they ask for level 35 or above characters. Normally it caps out at level 30, so I just like to have them a couple levels over that little standard. Moving on to the Mulan collection. This one I do have complete. Shang is 5 stars, a common racer that's been in the game from the very start. You're just gonna naturally collect shards for him over time. You know, I unlocked him pretty early on. He's super easy to get from the universal box, from the daily box. You just collect shards for him slowly but surely. You know, they give him out in the season tour pretty frequently, and so it just makes sense that he's gotten to 5 stars over time. Mulan, they also give a lot of shards out for as well, but she's rare, not common, so it's just been a little bit slower, and she's about 20 shards, 25 shards short of getting up to 5 stars, and they're both level 35, which is my standard. And then I have all their crew members just from universal boxes. You know, this is a pretty standard collection for me. All the crew members are at like 2 or 3 stars, so for a base collection, a non-seasonal collection, this is pretty standard, and then their epic crew members are just barely unlocked, which is it's pretty normal for me. And you're gonna see that translates to Pirates of the Caribbean, where once again I have a 5-star common character and then a 4-star rare character, because you know, and the shard counts are very similar because Pirates and Mulan are pretty much identical in the amount of shards they give out and the drop rates and stuff like that. The key difference is that Elizabeth Swann I do have up in the 40s because she was extremely meta for like the first 5 seasons of the game, and so it just made sense to upgrade her and push her up higher into ranks. And then I am missing Joshua Gibbs. Unfortunately, the universal box luck has just not been on my side in order to complete this collection. And then all my crew members, again, a standard, you know, 2 or 3 stars for pretty much all of them. And Weatherby Swan is honestly pretty close to getting to 2 stars himself, only 1 shard away. Moving on to Hercules, again, pretty similar. I have them both at 5 stars. Meg, I got into the 40s just because I wanted to. I liked Meg at one point. She's not my favorite character to race as anymore, but she's still fun. Hades, however, is a new mid-season character, and he is only at 3 stars in level 33. Getting Hades shards has been quite a struggle, but as of recent, they've given out a little bit more, which has helped me get him up into the 3-star range. I'm not doing too hot on crew members. I am missing Cerberus, who I don't even know if they've given out shards for yet, for free at least. Not that I know of. Pain and Panic, I've definitely missed a couple shards for, and I could probably have him unlocked if I actually cared to do all of Hades' events, but I did miss out on some of them. And then the rest of my crew members are pretty standard, besides the Muses, which I'm still missing 5 for, and Zeus is already up to 4, so we've gotten some extra progress with him. But besides that, everything's pretty standard for my Hercules collection. Moving on to Beauty and the Beast, this is one of the collections that I have spent some serious tokens on, so this is not going to be an accurate representation of what a year like as a free-to-play is like, or you know, a light spender. I did some heavy spending on this collection, so just keep that in mind that yes, this collection is so far along, but that is because I've dedicated a lot of tokens because I love Beauty and the Beast, and you can see that reflects Belle and Beast, both 5 stars, level 40, Gaston level 45, 4 stars, and is only 16 away from that fabled 5 stars that I really want. And then my crew members are stacked. All the common ones are maxed out. The rare ones are all 4 stars and on their way to 5, except for Gaston's cronies, who is still in the 3s. And then epic crew members are all at 2 stars, well on their way to 3. So the Beauty and the Beast collection is eating good. I have done well with this collection. And that's all thanks to the box that is in the shop. We'll grab that shard later. But if you take a look, this Season Tour support box, which was formerly known as the Easter box, I did dump a good amount of tokens into that box. Moving on to the Jungle Book, this is one of my more neglected franchises. Like Mulan, I don't really care for the characters in it, so I just haven't invested a ton into it personally. But once again, Mowgli, 5 stars, rare member, been in the game since the start. They've given out a solid amount of shards for him. Baloo, pretty similar story, except he's epic, so they haven't given out as many shards, both at about my level 35 benchmark. And their crew members, you know, all 2 or 3 stars, with the exception of I've gotten extremely unlucky with the Wolfpack and Bagheera shards, and I only have 6 and 7 for them. So there's still a couple of those base game epic crew members that have really only been available in universal boxes since the game's beginning that I just haven't gotten lucky with. And I'll talk about how many universal boxes I've opened and how I've sort of spent my season coins across the seasons, because I did make some mistakes, and I'm going to tell you how you can progress better than I did, because while I have been super active in trying to progress as much as possible over the past year, I've also been learning a lot the past year, and my strategy on how to upgrade and progress through the game has changed a lot, several times. In fact, you know, just a couple of weeks ago I devised a whole new plan on how I want to start progressing my account, and so there are some mistakes. Like if I was progressing the way I wanted to, I totally should have had the Wolfpack and Bagheera unlocked by now, but I messed up over a couple seasons. Moving on to Monsters Inc. This is our first seasonal franchise. Season 1, And you'll see the seasonal franchises are normally just a lot further along, and that's because we have the season boxes, or what was formerly just the season box, where you get a lot of box credits for it, and this just really propels your collection along. And then they get added to universal boxes. So a collection like Monsters Inc., I got a ton of shards for like Mike and Sully and the Golden Pass, and the season tour and their limited events. And then on top of that, I had all the season boxes for the crew members, and then they were added to universal boxes. So I was collecting stuff after the season ended for all these. So because of that, my Monsters Inc. collection is pretty far along. I haven't spent any money on this collection at all. Celia May is at 5, so is Sully. Mike is at 4, almost 5, and Randall still has a ways to go to 5, and he's actually one of my few characters not at level 35 yet. But the rest are at level 35, and Mike's at 40 because, look at him. How can you not love and invest into Mike Wazowski? As for the crew members, doing pretty good. I think they're all 1 star for the epics, with the exception of Fungus, and then about 4 stars for the commons, and 3 to 4 stars for the rare crew members is pretty standard for a seasonal franchise, especially one that's gone along for this long. Like, it's been 6 seasons now that I've been collecting Monsters Inc. shards after the season ended, so, it just builds up over time. The Walt Disney World Collection is our first exclusively mid-season collection. This means you can't really get Figment shards from the Daily Shop or Universal boxes, only really his events, and I don't believe I've spent any money on Figment shards. And he's at 4 stars with 28 out of 85 on the way to 5. I'm pretty happy with that. He's right above my base of level 35, and I do enjoy Figment quite a bit. Unfortunately, they haven't given out his shards very much at all. As you can see, they are all 1 star except for these little birds right here, which is quite unfortunate because I do like playing Figment. So I wish that it was easier to get his shards for these crew members because it does make him very, not competitive. So hopefully they make an adjustment to that. But, for not spending, any money, I believe, on the Walt Disney World Collection, I'm pretty happy with this, that I have it just complete. And a 4-star Figment, I hope he gets some more love in the future because I do enjoy Figment as a character a lot. Moving on to Toy Story, the second seasonal collection. As you can see here, I do not have any 5-star racers. They are all 4 stars, well on their way to 5, though. They're all about at the halfway mark, or a little bit over it. So I am pretty happy with that. Bo Peep and Woody are both at level 30. I could upgrade them to 35, I believe, but I'm just going to keep them there and let the upgrade parts convert into the new upgrade coin currency. And then Buzz and Jessie are at 40 and 37, so I definitely invested a little bit more into these rather than these two. And then the crew members are very similar to Monsters Inc., about 1 or 2 stars for the epic crew members. The common ones are at 4, 5 if I got a little lucky for them. And then the rares are at either 4 or 3 stars. So just a pretty standard season collection that I didn't spend any money on. Now moving on to a collection that I did spend a lot of money on, and you're going to see the difference. Use Monsters Inc. and Toy Story as a baseline for what a seasonal collection can look like a couple months after the season ended if you were actively playing during the season. Pretty far along, decent levels on everything, but the Lilo and Stitch collection is going to be way further along because I care deeply about these characters. I spent money on the season boxes, and I have used many a season coins in the daily shop to purchase more shards for these characters and their crew members. We have Lilo at 4 stars, Gontu at 3, almost 4, and then Jumba, Stitch, and Angel are all at 5 stars and above level 40. In fact, Stitch is level 50, my first max character, my favorite character in the game, my main man. I love Stitch so much, definitely my favorite character to play in Disney Speedstorm. And as for their crew members, most of them are maxed out, all of the commons, most of the rares with the exception of Cobra Bubbles and Myrtle, who aren't far away at all, and then the epic crew members, we have 1, 2 stars for most of them, just like another standard season franchise, but the Duck family is at 4 stars, because I have spent so many season coins on trying to level this up via the daily shop, and you'll see this is the case for a few other epic crew members of racers that I really care about as well. So moving on to our next collection, which is Aladdin. Now, I did spend a bit on the Aladdin season boxes, not a ton though, and you can see that definitely reflects with Genie and Jafar, who had relatively rare drop rates. They only made it to 3 stars, unfortunately. I imagine they will be 4 stars before long, just like the Monsters Inc. and Toy Story collections. That's really the difference, 4 months makes. So I imagine in like 4 months, these will be at 4 stars, you know, just when they've been as far along as the Monsters Inc. and Toy Story collections have been. Aladdin and Jasmine are at 5 stars and level 45 and 50 just because I love playing them. Aladdin, another one of my mains, I love playing him a ton. And the crew members are relatively far along as well, with most of the commons being maxed out or close to it. One rare maxed out, the other one's pretty far along. And then the epic crew members doing pretty good at either 1, 2, 3, or 4. We actually have completely different levels for all of them. And that's because Raja and Abu, I have purchased a lot of shards for them using season coins that I've earned for free in the daily shop. So that's how I got them up that high, just like the Duck family as well. Moving on to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, this is by far my least favorite collection in the game. Hortensia is sitting at 2 stars, level 24. I spent absolutely no money on her, that's just from ranked and her little events. One of my only 2-star characters in the game. Oswald's up to 3. I don't believe I spent money. I might have purchased his unlock pack. Honestly, I can't remember. I think I did buy his unlock pack, yeah. And that's how he's up to 3 stars. But I don't really enjoy playing these characters. I didn't spend any money on their crew members, and they've only really given out like these 3 for free. The rest have just been kind of neglected, which sucks. I wish they'd give out more mid-season crew members. But yeah, Oswald definitely a very neglected collection on my part. Moving on to Frozen. Now, I think everyone's Frozen collection is a little stacked, and you can't really compare this to, you know, Aladdin, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Lilo and Stitch, because the box rates and the amount of boxes you got this season was absolutely through the roof. And because of that, it definitely reflects in my star levels. Olaf's 4 stars, Elsa's 4 stars, Anna's 4 stars, all far along, and then Kristoff and Hans are both 5 stars, and looking at the crew members, a lot are maxed out, or very close to being maxed out at 4 stars, and the epic crew members are at 3 or 2 stars, with the exception of Bruni, who I did get up to 4 stars because, once again, I purchased a lot of his shards in the daily shop because I love Elsa as a character, and I do plan to take her to level 50 as soon as I possibly can. I need to get like those last 60 shards though, so hopefully they give a way for me to do that sometime in the future. Moving on to the WallE collection. This is another mid-season collection, our last mid-season collection. Eve is my only other 2-star racer besides Hortensia. Again, didn't spend any money on Eve really. I think I purchased 1 of her boxes, and that's it, so I didn't really get any shards from that. I do have all their crew members because I did buy WallE's box and his unlock pack just a little bit so that way I could complete this collection and level up WallE to where I wanted him at level 35, you know, kind of my baseline for my account. So I'm pretty proud of my WallE collection. It's not super far along. Again, upgrading mid-season racers is expensive and a long and tiring process. And then finally, the Little Mermaid collection. This season collection is actually doing very well. I have all my characters at 4 stars above level 35. You know, Ariel's well on her way to 5. And the crew members are doing pretty good. I have Chef Louis maxed out somehow. The other commons are already at 4 stars. The rares are at either 3 or 4 stars. And then the epic crew members are all at 1 or 2. So comparing to the Toy Story and Monsters Inc. collection, which are other season franchises that I didn't spend any money on, just like the Little Mermaid, you know, I think I bought like 2-star packs for Eric and Ariel, but besides that, no money on this collection. It's actually much further along, so even though people have been complaining about the box rates this season, and yes, it's way worse than it was the Frozen season, and I wish they'd go back to that, we've definitely improved since Season 1 and 2 of the game, and have been getting more shards each season, like the Little Mermaid compared to Aladdin or Lilo and Stitch and Toy Story and Monsters Inc., we're getting more shards now than we were then, so even though these split season boxes and the nerfed rewards are definitely really bad compared to Frozen, they are a buff in the long run, so as a day 1 player, I'm not complaining too much about the season rates and stuff like that this season. Now moving on to the rest of my account, just to talk about how I've progressed through the game over the seasons, and how my account got to this point. Seasons 1 and 2, I exclusively spent my season coins, the yellow golden currency that you can earn like about 2 million or more for free every season. The first 2 seasons, I exclusively purchased universal boxes. That's because universal boxes gives you the best value for your shards. You know, 10,000 coins for like 3 random shards in the game. That's the best value you're going to get, about 3,300 coins per shard. Comparing that to the daily shop, it's way better value to just buy universal boxes. However, it comes at the cost of not getting to pick the characters and crew members you want. So around season 3, 4, and 5, and even most of season 6, I started spending all my season coins on the daily specials so that way I could level up characters I wanted, and that's how I got stuff, you know, like 4-star Duck Family and Abu and Bruni, and I got all these maxed out super high level characters. That was by doing the daily specials. However, I really recently changed up my strategy because I decided I want to level up my account more as a whole and stop focusing on certain specific characters. So really, whether you buy universal boxes or the daily shop really just depends on you. Personally, when you first start out the game, I would always buy universal boxes until you have most of all crew members and racers that you want unlocked, and then after that you can decide for yourself if you want the best shard value for your season coins, or if you want to switch to, you know, focus progression and only upgrade a certain few racers. But there you guys have it. That's my Disney Speedstorm account after 1 year. You can see all my characters right here. Definitely a lot of money spent, a lot of progress made. I'm pretty proud of it. Let me know what you guys think of my account. Tell me how much you've progressed in the comments compared to me below, and I will catch you all in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.